Hello, I'm Rich Robitaille with American Legion. Welcome to our ongoing series, our video podcast series, highlighting veterans and veteran affairs programs. This episode, we come to you live from Cranford, New Jersey at the Riverside Inn. And we have the honor to have with us the retired U.S. Army Colonel Robert Vicci from VetRest. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Rich, great seeing you. I'm going to talk into that thing, I guess.
Absolutely.
Great seeing you, brother. And
everyone's out there watching, so.
I love it. Well, Rich and I are both combat veterans, and we're very proud to help our veterans move to happier, healthier lifestyles. And we are in Cranford, my hometown.
Nice.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
Cranford is wonderful. If you've never been down here, they have a wonderful shopping district and some wonderful restaurants.
That's great. And the Riverside
Inn has been here since Prohibition.
I think
so
New Jersey's number one bar
Absolutely.
in
Great
New
neighborhood
Jersey,
bar. You can always come by the Riverside.
We're in a great place, surrounded by great people.
Right. Well, welcome to the video podcast series, which will be up live on our YouTube channel shortly after this. We really want to highlight veterans in the community and veteran affairs programs. So first of all, for those of you who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your military background.
Sure. Well, Cranford native, played football here for Cranford High School and went on to West Point, spent maybe not a magnificent 4 years at the academy, but played Army football for 4 years. Was blessed to be able to have that opportunity. Went off into the service. I served down in Savannah, Georgia as an Army helicopter pilot and a troop commander. Came off active duty in the late 1986 and joined my father's and brother's construction firm, Vicci Construction, right here in Cranford, and joined the National Guard in 88, 89, I think, and spent another 24 years of service there. Great career, love what I did. 2002 was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, and 2004 took battalion command of the 1st of the 150th General Support Aviation Battalion, and we deployed to Iraq in November of 2004, and we returned in November 2005 after a great tour. Flew 35 combat missions myself in an Army Black Hawk. Was the Army G3 Air at the time for the division, the 42nd ID, and had control of about 81 aircraft and worked with the aviation brigade of 1,000 men and women. So we had a great tour, great experience. I didn't lose anyone while we were there. Unfortunately, we've lost a few to suicide since we've returned. So I retired in 2009 and just have a great passion for helping our veterans and staying in the veteran workspace.
Well, that's great. I appreciate that. It's an amazing story. I really.
Thank you, Rich.
You now lead an organization called VetRest, and it does a great deal of work for a lot of folks. But for folks out here, there's a lot of different nonprofits in the veteran affairs space. For folks who've never heard of VetRest, what is its mission? What's its purpose?
Sure. Well, VetRest, I'll give you a little bit of the history, and I'll get right into our purpose. Well, our purpose is to provide veterans and their family members who are struggling with the effects of PTS, and we provide peer-to-peer coaches and counseling, and we want to facilitate their healing for whatever their stressors are from. So we provide a supportive environment, and we do that in a number of ways. But I first want to circle back a little bit and give you a little bit of our history. 2013 is when VetRest became organized, and we are a 501c3 charity. A classmate of mine from West Point, class of 1981, Major General Dan York, had the idea to start the VetRest with a few of our classmates. What had happened was the Army was doing some great things, and they decided to send out an email to all the general officers when there were veteran suicides or military suicides. And what they were finding is that there were too many every day, and they were really clogging up the email boxes of all the general officers, which is a great thing. Dan one day had received 3 notices of veteran suicide, so he had had enough. He called on a few classmates of ours, and they organized and put together VetRest. And what we're doing is we provide peer-to-peer coaches. So today we're operating in over 8 states. We will cover any veteran who is anywhere, connecting dots to help them for whatever they need to help them. There are 45,000 charities today, 45,000 veteran charities today. And we all have to work together in order to help all the veterans that are out there. You know, we have the one organization that's out here to help us, and that's the VA. And there are good stories and bad stories, but we're going to focus on the positive. we steer veterans toward the VA because they're the only organization that's going to offer you either financial stability or some financial remuneration, and also provide medical services.
What's your personal inspiration for doing this?
Back in 2009, when I retired from the military, I was also downsized from my civilian job the same day. And it was quite a shock to me because now I was out 2 salaries and of course had a house, and I was actually buying a new house for my wife and I at the time, and without either job, the house fell through, and a month later my wife fell through. So she decided she'd had enough of Colonel Rob Vicci, so we parted ways. And while I was going through this transition process, which was so important for me, is I met with a dear friend of mine from New York. He was an HR executive, and he reminded me of the fact that you have to volunteer, you have to give back, you have to reestablish that positive energy and that positive aura about you. And I did have a lot of negativity in my life at the time, for probably some pretty good reasons, while I was also struggling with PTS myself. And he reminded me that, volunteer, give back, and I started working with veterans on employment opportunities, hiring opportunities, helping veterans just transition. I've written over 2,000 resumes in the past 10 years or so, and it really helped move me forward in my life. And actually, my life has been just enriched because of the positive energy. So about 3 years ago, Dan and I met at a reunion, and we spoke about things, and I've been blessed to have been offered a CEO position at VetRest because of the work we are doing.
So what drives you now to go day to day and keep the organization flourishing?
It's the mission that we have, because so many of our veterans are in a state of transition. So many of our veterans are struggling for PTSD. We're still seeing 22 veteran suicides each day, and one is a terrible figure. Exactly right. 22 is a horrendous figure for us to even see. So whether people bicker about 1 or 22, it doesn't matter. Any veteran suicide is a serious issue. We also work with police, fire, and EMS folks because they also suffer many of the same effects.
Yeah, live on the street interviews.
Gotta love it. So my motivation is doing whatever we can. I'm in a period of transition myself, work-wise. So it gives me the opportunity to focus on helping more of our brothers and sisters in arms. None of us are paid. If we do bring in enough funding, we try to pay some of our coaches in order to help cover expenses. I will cover expenses for coaches wherever they need to be, but no one draws a salary. At least 95% of what we bring in goes right back to veterans, other charities, and help that we provide. Obviously, there are operating costs. We have a HIPAA-compliant computer system, accountants. Once in a while, we need an attorney, and we do need some financial guidance every now and then. But other than that, everything goes back right to veterans and right to resources. Some of the things we'll provide. We helped an 88-year-old Vietnam veteran pay off his car with a small sum so that he could get rid of the car, so he lost that burden of the expense. We've helped with several transmissions. We've helped with a mortgage payment or two. We help with cell phone bills. We help guide folks into areas where we can provide them help. We have a lot of other charities that we network with that can help with homeless situations, that can help with clothing, help with interview writing or interview processing, all those things. Two main lines of effort in VetRest are peer-to-peer coaching. It's our first line of defense, and we have a second line of effort, which is we have a farming initiative. So you and I talked earlier about a success story. Mm-hmm. Right now, we've put 2 mini homes up on a farm in Florida, and we've taken 2 homeless veterans off the streets, put them in these mini homes. We pay them, and now they have a bed, they have a place to sleep, they have a place to live, and what's very important is they have an address now. You can't receive VA benefits if you don't have an address. So we provide them with an address, we help them with their VA benefits, and now we have 2 veterans that are off the streets and fully functional. In the next 10 to 15 years, our country will be short about a million farmers. The farming industry is taking a huge cut in personnel. So we think farming and veterans and PTSD working with your hands, up early, working hard, a secure environment, teaching veterans how to farm so they can maybe eventually open their own farm is just a great look ahead and one way that we can help with facilitate healing.
And how can veterans find you?
Our website's great, Rich. It's very robust. 3 W's, of course, and I'll wait till this guy passes. A 53-footer. VetRest.org, VETREST.org. Go on our website, folks. If you're suffering, if you have a family member who's suffering, if you have anyone who's suffering with the effects of PTSD, we're not going to turn anyone away. Emails come directly to me and to General York. So, and we respond immediately, and we mobilize whoever we need or whatever resources we need to help those right away. You can help by volunteering with us, by sending us people who need some help. Of course, donations are always necessary because covering 50 states is a challenge. We have 7 operating chapters today in Colorado, in DC, in Oregon, in Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
And what kind of volunteer, what are you looking for in terms of people want to help you? How do they help you?
Volunteer-wise?
Mm-hmm.
With events, with helping. If we have a veteran coming who's struggling in a certain region, we need volunteers in those regions to go meet with those veterans. So that's mostly what it is peer-to-peer counseling is so important. And we have our training packet for our coaches. We could send folks to training with other organizations as well. But I challenge anyone to ask us a question or provide us with a scenario where we don't have a coach who's been through that scenario. We have coaches on our staff that have been blown up, of course, shot at, raped, beaten, amputee veterans. So there's nothing. We've had veterans that have lost children. We have veterans that have had suicide instances in their families. So there's pretty much every case that we can cover with some of our peer-to-peer coaches. And it's so important for vets to reach out, even family members, because veterans are a proud community. And whether you served in combat or not, veterans are very proud. They don't want to ask for help. So join us, help, reach out, just say hello. Call us when you're having a great day. Tell us a great story. We'll put it on our website.
What about any upcoming events or things you have coming up with VetRest? Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. We've had a few so far in the past 2 months. Summer's great here, especially in the New Jersey marketplace. We had CC Coletti Band put together a 3-day event in Hackettstown, New Jersey. We had the Rock and Blues Festival just 2 weeks ago. They're going to be donating upwards of $7,500 to VetRest. In 2.5 weeks, we have an event. It's an LOL comedy event we're having for one of our colonels. Colonel Dr. Belinker is a Cranford resident, which is also so meaningful while we're here, Rich. He was a full-time dentist, and he was also the head colonel for the New York Army National Guard. And he had a catastrophic accident. He fell under his truck. His truck rolled over him partially, and he's now a quadriplegic. This was a few weeks before he retired, and a few weeks, he still had a few more years to serve in the New York National Guard, but now he's a quadriplegic, and we're doing what we can to help raise funds for his family who's been struggling. I'm sure right now his wife Terry is suffering the effects of PTSD because it's such a traumatic event that they've lived through. So it's October 11th at the Kenilworth VFW. Go on our website, vetrest.org. Our flyer's posted there. Register, I'll send you the flyer. We're taking donations, we're looking for sponsors. We want people to come. We have veterans and family members out there that can't afford a ticket. Ticket sales are now at $60 a ticket. Contact me directly. My first initial last name, rvicci@vetrest.org, and I'll take care of your tickets for you. We want to have veterans come and enjoy the experience. We want to show support for the family, and we want to bring our community together to help not only Dr. Belinker, but his family, who's been struggling with this for over about 2 years now. And I do have to say, he can't say enough great things about how the VA is taking care of him. And I'm really proud to know that from Lyons and from East Orange VA in New Jersey. So he's a great supporter, proponent, and we'll do everything we can to get the positive message out.
That's great. Looking forward to that event. It's going to be wonderful. I hear that you're also on a regular radio show. Can our viewers out there who may not know that and want to hear you in the future and see the ongoings of VetRest, Can you tell us about your radio program?
Absolutely. You know, I'm very blessed in my life with the people that I've been able to meet nationwide through our organization. And Steve Trevelise of New Jersey 101.5 Radio is a huge veteran advocate. He has us on at least every 3 weeks or so. Actually, I talked to him yesterday. October 9th, we're going to be on. I'm trying to bring on Christine Martucci, who's a 10-year veteran and also one of our coaches, and Anthony Kryzan, who's lead guitar for the Spin Doctors. And they write wonderful music together. They have several songs that donate funds back to VetRest. If anybody has a producer out there that can help us get these songs on a national level, they're such high quality. We'll get them out there. But I do post on our VetRest website when I'm going to be on the show. I posted on my LinkedIn account. Connected me on LinkedIn. My personal Facebook ties into my VetRest Facebook. So the word is out there. And I would love to have folks listen in and call in. There's a New Jersey 101.5 app, or listen online on your computer. But check us out. We'll be on October 9th. Like I said, it's a Wednesday night, promoting the event on Friday the 11th. Now, the significance is Steve Trevelise is also an A-list comedian, and he's bringing on Joey Gay, who was last comic standing, and Paul Veneer, who is the comic tornado. These three guys are so funny. But we've also have coming down Joey Carroll from the Boston Comedy Festival. Joey's done 9 combat tours, Iraq and Afghanistan 4 times, and he entertains the troops. And he's making the trip in from Boston, and he is, you know, he brings realism and real stories to the events because he's been in combat. I also just last night contacted our mentalist. I call him a wizard, and Eric Walton, and he is just phenomenal. And I have we're going to post this up on website too. So he does strolling magic, he calls it. I've been with him for 5 shows, and I have no idea how he does anything, but he is amazing. We're going to have a lot of veterans there, a lot of folks there, a lot of concerned citizens, and join us at the event. Thank you to Steve Trevelise for setting us up. Follow us online, on the radio. Send us advice, guidance. Send us veterans who need help, because with 45,000 charities out there, we all need to share in what we're doing. We all need to help each other.
Great. Is there anybody you'd like to acknowledge out there in the community?
Well, of course, thank you for, and Rich and I both did combat tours, so I certainly applaud the first sergeant here. He's done just the Lord's work and bringing us to the forefront. Of course, my wife, who puts up with me. God bless Nanette. She, wherever I am, wherever I do, she is there to support all we do. My family's always behind me. My brothers, my sister, my dad are huge fans. But, you know, all the veterans who are out there, you know, General York, he's a major general. He's in Peru right now on mission, helping folks convert over to Christianity, and he does a wonderful job. We're not a faith-based organization, I have to make that clear, but we do believe that folks need to rely on their faith for healing. All the folks that help us, we have some great friends and family out there that are always here. Tom Phoenix comes to mind. Tom's at every event. He is a wonderful person. So many other organizations that help us out. The Rock and Blues Festival folks, and CC Coletti, and Tucci, and Anthony, Cheryl DeVega, and so many great people. Just keep it going, folks. Forward out our messages. Get on our website. Even if you can donate $5, every little bit helps. And get the word out and support us.
Great.
That's what we can ask for.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being on our video podcast series highlighting veterans and veteran affairs programs. This is Rich Robitaille with Rob Vicci from VetRest. Thank you for watching from Cranford, New Jersey.
God bless America.